What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. I'm doing a different live stream. I mean, usually I put videos out on Wednesdays, right? So it's not really all that different, but it's live. And I'm bringing you guys here live in my studio, office, apartment, whatever you want to call it, because I thought it was important to have a discussion with you guys. There's so much going on in the stock market, in the economy that's affecting you, your life, and everything else, that I really wanted to come to you tonight and have a discussion. You know, we talk about it on Stock Watch Sundays, which that's one thing, but there's so much that's been happening every single day of the week that I thought it was important to have a conversation with you about what's been going on. So we're going to do that today, and we're going to talk about what's been going on. I'm going to give you some of my opinions, and then obviously I want to hear from you guys as well. I still would like to have some folks call in if you have questions about stocks or how to approach the stock market moving forward, and kind of go on those types of things. But first, let me welcome you to my channel. Hi, my name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos. You know, this channel was dedicated to, showing everybody just how crazy and chaotic the stock market can be. And this is the moment that, basically this channel has, been about, it's what it's lived for. So if you want to learn more about the stock market, how to handle such times like this, please, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. And if nothing else, if you get value out of this video, I certainly would appreciate a thumbs up, just to further support the mission that I'm trying to set out to do. So I certainly would appreciate it, just to kind of give you what's been going on. Well, the stock market yesterday had a record day, the best day that it's ever had in 87 years. Dow was up over 2,000 points. Incredible stuff, right? And then today it even continued. But one thing that I would like to encourage people to really consider is that there might be a little bit of a false positive here, and that I'm convinced that the bottom of the stock market, the recent bottoms that we've seen, especially with the SPY being around 217, 213, somewhere around there. I have to go back and double check that. But I think that we retest the bottom here. I think we're seeing a little bit of a false positive, and there's a lot of reasons as to why. But there's going to be two main ones. And one of them, I think, is because tomorrow we'll get one of the worst single pieces of economic data the U.S. has ever seen. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to instill fear in anybody. I'm not trying to be fear-mongering. I think it's just the fact. And the fact of the matter is that 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, the Labor Department releases its weekly tally of jobless claims or new filings for unemployment insurance. Before the stock market crashed, jobless claims were at a historic low. They rarely ever dipped below 200,000 per week, but sustaining around 215,000, which was incredible. The unemployment was down around at 3% or just below 3%. Amazing number. The economy is doing extremely well. Tomorrow we could see that number increase tenfold or more. Think about that number, 200,000, and we could see that increase tenfold or more. So I'm thinking we could see easily a seven-figure number, somewhere around 3 to 4 million jobless claims. This would be numbers we haven't even seen in the Great Recession of 2008. So the stock market could, like I said, revert back to below 20,000. SPY could retest, its lows, or the S&P 500. The cases of infection have increased over 450 to over 450,000. Over 20,000 people have died as a result of the pandemic, and so this is a very serious issue that's keeping people indoors, and people are not able to go to work. So that is why I'm saying that this is going to be a very serious time tomorrow, and I didn't want people to get wrapped up in the fact, oh, this is the bottom. Oh, this is where the V is going to rip right back up, and I just don't think we're there yet. And I think, in my opinion, I've talked to you guys about this. There's no way you can predict the bottom. And I still encourage if you're doing long-term investing, to scale yourself into your investments. And I'm still all about that. Because you never really do predict the bottom. You never really can predict the bottom of the stock market. But given, all the pieces and factors here, there's still, areas that could definitely push the stock market down further. So um, you know, that on top of this too. So what's recently come out right before I went live today, I actually wrote all this down so you guys could have all the information. The $2 trillion relief package in response to the pandemic took yet another sharp turn. Okay. Lindsey Graham, and look, I'm not trying to get political. I'm not trying to choose a side here, but this is getting a little bit ridiculous and out of hand. Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, Ben Sass, and Rick Scott threatened not to support the stimulus package because $600 a week to unemployment insurance for up to 4 months, it was something that they argued may keep people unemployed, because there might be certain instances where people will be getting more money than what they were actually getting paid at their real jobs. In my opinion, it's only going to be for 4 months. I don't see how that would be a big deal, especially since we're just trying to get some economic relief to these people. Bernie Sanders said that he would delay the bill if his colleagues did not drop the opposition, calling it an outrage. This whole week has just been straight up tit for tat. Like, can Congress just do their effing job? And like I said, I'm not picking sides, because at the beginning of the week, it was the other way around. The Democratic side, they wanted to throw stuff into the bill that had nothing to do with economic relief for people, and it was just ridiculous. And now they're doing the same thing on the other side of the aisle. Just do your effing job and get it through already. Stop. I don't know. They're just messing with people's lives, and they really just don't care. And I'm so irritated with it. I mean, even Mark Cuban went on Twitter and was just berating all of them. But nevertheless, it's causing the stock market to continue to drop. Everybody was hopeful that the stimulus package was going to provide a lot of relief for people. And then every time we think we get this close to passing it, somebody else just comes in and screws it all up. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, they're all screwing it up. So, like I said, I'm not picking a side. This is screwed up on both sides. So they're just messing with people's money and people's livelihood. And it's very, very irritating. So, and I see people, commenting, but how this is going to affect your investments, and it depends on what kind of trader you are. Obviously, if you're a day trader, it doesn't really impact you all that much. If you're swing trading this thing, this is really tough for you, because if you're traditionally a swing trader, you just don't know what you're going to expect from one day to the next. So, let that be your warning. I would not, in my opinion, if you're a short-term swing trader, I would not be holding a whole lot overnight. I certainly wouldn't be risking very much at all, if anything. I haven't been holding anything overnight as of recently, just because you just never know what's going to happen from 1 minute to the next, especially with what's going on in Congress. Like, you just don't know. And we saw that in the last 5 minutes of the market when Bernie Sanders put that tweet out. It really impacted the market. It was pretty incredible. So, it just, I don't know. I just felt it was important to go live with you guys and kind of discuss this, because there was this really huge false positive, in my opinion, that people were like, oh, we're going to get this stimulus package and things are going to be back to normal. And it's just not. I think, in my opinion, the market isn't really truly going to start to come back until A, there's really effective treatment, B, the spread slows down and or stops, and C, people actually start going back to work and feel comfortable going back to work. So that's what's really going to get the economy moving again, is when people can go back to work so they can spend money, and the world goes back to being the way that it was. Giving people money from the government is going to put a Band-Aid on it. So even if we see a temporary move up, it's not going to sustain. So I think getting people's heads wrapped around that is really the message that I was trying to convey. And the whole purpose of going live tonight was just to kind of share that with you guys, and then also get your thoughts as well. So let me, that was a huge rant, I feel like, a little bit, but, you rarely see me, really this irritated or really this frustrated, but, because I try to keep things as professional as I can. But when, I don't know, I do this to help people, and it is Congress's job to help people, and they just aren't. They're bickering and fighting over the dumbest crap. And like I said, it's on both sides. Nobody is innocent from this, in my opinion. So, hello, YouTube team. What's going on? And what's going on, Bob? Good to see you. I if I lived in New York, I would have left. Yeah, New York is really tough stuff. Yeah, I mean, for those folks, if you guys are watching from New York, you know, I'm thinking about you and praying for you. You know, listen, you know, despite what's going on in Congress, we're all a team. This is the United States of America, damn it. We're all a team. So we're in this together and we're going to win this together. And, you know, that's all there is to it. And it's really, really not that hard. Just wash your hands, don't cough on people, and stay at home. If everybody just stayed at home for 2 weeks and did what they're supposed to do, we'd be much further along. So, if we can all work as a team, it really, really won't be that big of a deal. Everybody will go back to life as normal, and you know, a year or two from now, we'll be kind of being like, oh, remember that time when? So, let's see here. Just seeing here, it's Monday on Wednesday. Yeah, it sure feels like Monday on Wednesday. Let's see here. Anyone else ride the work train this morning? Yeah, there was a lot of stocks moving today, King Bradicus. I don't know if, I guess maybe you played, I guess you played work. That was pretty, everything moved. TVIX might go nuts tomorrow. Andrew's talking about TVIX. Yeah, if you guys are familiar with the TVIX inverse of the SPY, I actually told my folks within my morning mentorship, which, by the way, if you guys want to, before we get to what's going on with TVIX, I've created a special deal. I know that things are tough, so I'm giving away a free month of mentorship. So, and it's only for new people. So anybody who's in the mentorship already, you know, doesn't apply to you. But if you are new to the mentorship, everybody's getting a free month. The links are down in the description below. Go check it out. Put the coupon code STOCKS in when you go to checkout, and you get 1 free month of mentorship with me. You get to learn how to invest. This has never been a better time to learn how to invest in the stock market and to learn how to do this, trade in the stock market. Because if you can learn this, then everything else after this is easy. So go check it out. Links are down in the description below. Free month, 1 free month. It is STOCKS is the coupon code. Go check that out. So Miguel's paid up through. Yeah, so we have a couple people that paid for the entire year, which is awesome. People see enough value in it to be with me for the entire year. So I'm stuck with Miguel over there. I'm just messing with you, but I mean, I love Miguel. So, but anyhow, you know, with TVIX, I told my folks in the mentorship, TVIX is moving because there's people like me that understand what's going on here. TVIX plummeted over the last, you know, from really the end of Friday, Monday, Tuesday, because everybody was anticipating the stimulus package going through. Things started to falter. But I think, honestly, the real reason TVIX, you know, made that strong move that it did was today, and it will continue tomorrow, is because of this job report that's going to come out. And I'm telling you, it's going to be well into a 7-figure number for as far as unemployment is concerned. It's going to be really staggering. I think it's going to shock a lot of people. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, TVIX, which is the inverse, which basically, if you're bearish on the S&P 500 or the SPY, TVIX is something that you're going to trade. So we were talking about that today, and that is why it's moving the way that it's moving. Wow, that's pretty ambitious. Waltham says 6.5 million. I was saying 4. My estimation was going to be around 4 million was going to be what the jobs report was going to yield to us. So again, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time is what you're going to want to pay attention to tomorrow before you start trading in the stock market, and that's something to really pay attention to. I just answered Saul's question there. Let's hope, bless. I really hope it is. Look, I would love for these numbers to be lower than I expect them to be, but I'm trying to be realistic. I'm trying to understand the landscape and see what's going on here, but things are really, really bad, and I think they're only going to get worse before they get better. I've always said that when they get better, I think they're going to get better quickly, and I still very much believe that, but I don't think that we've seen the worst just yet. That being said, if you have longer term investments, for those of you with the 401ks, I'm still very much saying, yes, please increase your contributions. If it were me, I would do that. I'm not, giving you obviously financial advice. I can't say that all that good stuff, but there's plenty of disclaimers that I have out there. But if it were me, I would be increasing my 401k contributions like as much as I could. I mean, I understand that things are tough. You might be without, your salary for a little while, or, you might have some financial constraints. But what I would say is that if you can, increase them as much as you can, if not max them out, because you'll look back on this 5 years from now and you will be like, man, I'm glad that somebody told me to do that, because if I didn't, and I like sold my 401k or whatever, you'd be really in a rough spot. I mean, think about this. In 2008, the people that were running from the stock market were probably kicking themselves, because the people that were running to the stock market in 2008 and 2009 were able to increase their investments almost 5 times what it was in 2008 before this particular crash. So that's the reality. That's what you need to understand. Running to the danger when everybody else is running away from it is really what the name of the game is. So for longer term investing, like I said, 401ks, retirement plans, long-term portfolios, all that stuff, being prepared to just buy up all you can. And if you're looking for long-term, if you have some cash sitting around, you're looking for long-term investments. We talked about this on Stock Watch Sunday, where like your Walmarts, your Costco's, your Amazons, Zoom still very much bullish on, which I talked about Zoom, and it's done very well this week. It's taking off like a rocket. And I still think that Zoom is still undervalued. I think Zoom ends up going towards $200 range, especially as more people discover Zoom, because Zoom's still a very new platform. I think there's a lot of people who haven't discovered Zoom. And so if you're locked up in your house and you want to communicate with whomever, or you're at home, working from home, Zoom is a fantastic platform. So I just think that the more usage that gets brings in more revenue for Zoom. And so I think $200 price target is where I'm looking at for Zoom. So, all those longer term investments, that's the kind of stuff that I'll be scaling myself in. Don't throw the farm at it. Just scale yourself in as the market continues to come lower. And then, you won't have to predict the bottom at that point. So, and you'll be in good shape. Because when this is over, boom. Yeah, exactly. When this is over, it's going to be a much faster move than we saw in 2008. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is just a huge fundamental economic reason. Nobody's buying houses that are worth $500,000-$600,000 on a $50,000 salary. That was the kind of craziness that was going on in 2008. So there won't be nearly as many people foreclosing on their houses or anything like that. So that was a completely different time, completely different situation than this is. All this is going to take is everybody staying inside and listening to what they're told for 2 weeks. And then everybody can come back out, go back to work, and be on about their lives. And then so that at that point, I think stock market's going to do very, very well. And we've already seen the outlook that the Nike earnings reports came out on Tuesday after hours, and how the outlook there has been relatively positive. And that was another stock that I put out on Stock Watch Sunday for people to watch. And so that did very well. I hope a lot of you guys were able to capitalize on that. Squints asks, are you talking about the game plan for tomorrow? Squints, yes, I am. And so like I said, I think that the stock market's going to, I think it's going to have a very down day. And so how you're going to prepare for that is waiting for the market to open and waiting for everything to react. I wouldn't trade anything pre-market. I wouldn't trade anything if it were me. And this is how I'm going to plan it. I'm not trading anything pre-market, and it may end up being that I just don't make a trade tomorrow because things are going to be so crazy. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Because there's so much uncertainty, I don't choose to hold anything overnight at this point. And, if you choose to do that, what I would say is, if it were me, I would be holding, like a TVIX and a SPY, or, just strangling some positions, holding the inverses of each other and just seeing which one goes off, and then dumping the other one and letting the other one ride. So you could do that. That's definitely an option for you. But for me personally, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not trying to deal with that headache. I'd rather just wait, see how the market reacts. If it tanks, There's going to be some sort of bounce, and so that's what I would be waiting for. I'd be looking for those areas of support and seeing which ones that it breaks through, and then which one it finally bounces off of to get onto a nice little bounce. And that's how I'm going to play tomorrow. So expect a really bad day tomorrow. There's probably going to be a lot of opportunities to short positions, and really it's going to be like it was the last couple of days, only the opposite. The last couple of days, you could throw a dart and make some money. This time around, you can throw a dart and still make some money, but it's going to be on the short side of things, and I really strongly believe that. Let me get to some other questions. How long can a recession last? It can last as long as people decide not to take this seriously. As long as people don't take this seriously, that's really what it's going to depend on. So once we get everything under control. So let's see here. So it really just depends on the situation. It took us, I don't know, I would say within the last 2 years, we finally got to a point to where we were feeling good about coming out of the recession of 2008. People weren't so afraid anymore. And then, of course, something like this happens. But I don't think, like I said, this is going to be nearly as long as the last one was. Andrew says, I increased my 401k contributions to 20% a month ago, and I think that's fantastic. I think that's the right decision. Even if the stock market continues to come lower, I think that's the right decision. Because like I said, you just don't ever know when the bottom truly is in. I don't think we're there yet, but you can never guess it. You can never guess it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So good on you for that, Andrew. Let's see here. Bob said in India locked down the whole country. That would be 1/5 of the world population. Yeah, that's crazy. I think they were considering that though. Let me know if you find someone that can give you a definitive answer. I don't know what that was in reference to. Let's see here. I've been trying to average down my Disney, Apple, and Tesla shares, so tomorrow should be a great time for me then. Yeah, I mean, it could be good opportunities if those are your long-term investments, but like I said, there's definitely other ones that I would consider that I've talked about before. Again, Amazon, Walmart, Costco, Dollar General, those are going to be ones that are, because they're still open, right? We've talked about how those companies that are still able to operate and are in high demand right now. We just talked about on Sunday about how Walmart, they're looking to try to hire 150,000 people by the end of May because the demand is so great right now because there's nothing else that's open. So I would say even Kroger, looking at Kroger, your publicly traded, grocery stores, all that stuff. Look at what's staying open right now during all of this. And those are the companies you're going to want to look into. Starbucks just opened back up in China. I mean, so those are the kind of companies you're going to want to look towards as far as your long-term investments go. And, I think that would be the smart play here. Zishan asked, what scanner do you use again? It's at scans.com. So I use Scans. I'll put it in the description here. Or the chat. Scans.com is that's the scanner that I use is Scans. How many times can I say Scans? 150 people only. I don't know where you're headed with that. Do you trade by chart patterns? I do trade by chart patterns. I trade on a little bit both. I trade on chart patterns and I trade fundamentally as well. It just kind of depends on the setup and what I'm looking for and the type of trading that I'm doing at that particular time. Can you tell us how the mentorship works? Bunky flies. Yeah. So guys, again, just to kind of give you a little heads up, I am providing a mentorship where I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern every single day of the week via Zoom, conveniently enough. And then I have a private chat as well. It's a Discord group that I'm with throughout the entire day, 24/7. So the link is in the description. I'm giving everybody a month for free. If you want to go check that out, Stocks is the coupon code. If you want to go check that out, you get 1 month free over there at WeTradeHQ.com. So the company that I built with my partner, Jake. And it's a really great community to be a part of. You can see some of the people that are in here in the chat that are talking in here. You can see Alan, Bob, Blade Runner Zero, a couple other people that are in here that are in the mentorship, and they can attest to just how great of a community that we have. So if you guys want to go check that out, and again, there's no cost up front at this point in time. 30 days free of the mentorship. You want to go check that out. I would love to have you in there. You have no obligation to stay. After that, it'll be $49.99 a month. But, if you like it, I would love to have you stay. So Anton says, I like your shirt. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm digging it too. It's a new shirt, so glad you noticed. So anyway, like I said, I go live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, so it's a half hour before the stock market opens, and then I stay with you a half hour after. I go over, my plan for the day, what kind of trades I plan on executing, and then I may or may not execute trades during that live stream. It just depends on whether or not I feel comfortable with certain setups. Lately, it's been really touch and go, so it's just been a little bit, here and there. I will make trades live if the setup is there, but then I'll also go over, what the plan is throughout the rest of the day if I don't happen to make a trade. So, all right, Lost One, see you, man. Thanks for hanging out. What's up, new sub? Net Compound, new subscriber. Good to have you, man. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. What's up, Rabbit Boy? Late to the party. No worries, we're still here. Love these guys and girls. Yeah, Miguel, appreciate you. He's in the mentorship as well. Jenny's in there. So, do you think stocks will go down like they were last week from now on? It's going up. No. So, D10 Solos asked the question, do I think stocks are going to go down? I do think that there's potential for us to retest the lows from last week. 100%. I think that's a very distinct possibility, and it's because of this jobs report that's going to be coming out tomorrow. I think that's really going to impact a lot of the way that we trade tomorrow and probably going into the rest of the week. And then obviously the stimulus package is going to have an impact on that as well if we can finally get that going. But yeah, I do think that there's going to be, I think the last 2 days was a little bit of a false positive as far as that's concerned. What do you think of Boeing? I bought at 95. Here's what I think about Boeing. So this stimulus package is meant to help support companies like Boeing and a lot of the other airliners. They're going to get bailed out, and whatever opinion you have about bailouts, one thing that I would say about this stimulus package that I'm a fan of is that they are prohibiting stock buybacks if they get bailed out for at least a year. So for one full year, they cannot do any stock buybacks if they take on this bailout. So with Boeing, I think, and this is strictly opinion, there's no factual, this isn't fact, this is strictly my opinion. I think that Boeing's too big to fail, and the government is going to have to step in. I think the CEO's made remarks about we don't need their money kind of thing as it revolves around that. I don't know why he would make those remarks unless he was planning on doing stock buybacks, which I think is ridiculous. You don't need to be bailed out if you're going and just buying stocks back up. They're buying shares back up. So I just think that Boeing's too big to fail. If Boeing fails, that is a huge economic disaster because of how many people they employ, how that would affect travel, the airliners in general. Like they have to be bailed out, I would think. I don't think there's any other alternative unless they go bankrupt. And then what does that do? Jobs get cut indefinitely. There's no hiring them back or letting them back once everybody can be allowed back out of their homes. And so that is why, in my opinion, that they're just going to have to be bailed out if push comes to shove. So that's my opinion. As it relates to your investment, you bought in at $95. Obviously, you're doing very well. What I would say is just be careful, because if something falls through, like they don't get bailed out, make sure that you have a contingency plan in place. Make sure you're managing that risk. But I think $95 is definitely a solid buy-in. I thought, in my opinion, that anything under $100 for Boeing was on the cheap. So we'll just see how that goes. I mean, they have a lot of things that they have to worry about, right? The MAX Air stuff as well. If that takes off, no pun intended, I think that they will end up doing well. And like I said, I think less than $100 on Boeing is pretty cheap at this point. So if it drops back down below $100, gets to that $90 range, was a really strong support for Boeing. Up to this point, I think those are going, if you can get anything more in the 90s, that would be cheap for me, in my opinion, on Boeing for long-term investing. Good question there. We thought Brad was shirtless this morning. Yeah, everybody thought that this shirt blended in and that they thought that I was showing up to the mentorship shirtless. So Rabbit Boy, do I do futures? Very good question. I dabble in futures every now and then, but I actually have, and this is Own the Chaos debut. I'm working on an autonomous bot right now with my partner Jake, who I built WeTrade HQ with. So we have a bot that actually trades for me. I don't touch it. It just automatically trades, and that trades the mini futures of the S&P 500 up and down. So do I trade futures? Yes. Could I tell you all about them, and am I an expert in futures? Not really. I know enough to kind of get myself in trouble and probably not be completely accurate on some of the information that I give you. So that's just me being completely honest. I know how futures work, and I know how to trade them. But I would just rather let my robot trade it. So I'm gonna let we still haven't come up with a name for it. We got to come up with a bot. So the bot name, but it's cool stuff. It's really cool to see it run. Sometimes you get 1,000% runner. Yes. So, what was the one that we traded today? Blade Runner. We traded was ASTC, ARTC, whatever the heck the one that was that today that you ended up trading. Thing went off like a rocket. Got in at 215. It was an incredible trade. And that's the kind of stuff we see in the mentorship almost every morning. I won't say every morning, but very common to see stuff like that all the time. So 1,000% runners are a thing. So let's see here. How come you come in so clearly on YouTube here, but you break up badly on morning mentorship? I don't know. That's probably a question they'll save for later. Is it too late to buy Boeing at 170? I would say it's probably a little bit high. I would wait for it to come back down to cool off a little bit. I think 170 would be a bit too high to buy up here. U.S. government does not want China to rule the air. Yeah, I mean, that's probably too as well. We won't get into that topic. What's the new Discord channel? The link's in the description as well for that. Yeah, ASTC was the one we traded today. Thanks for that. What is the new Discord channel? So the Discord, there is no new Discord channel. It's been the same as it always has been. But the links are in the description if you want to go check that out. And yeah, I'm going to leave you guys to it. Like I said, I just wanted to reach out to you guys, talk to you a little bit about what's going on, and kind of just make you prepared for what's going to be happening throughout the remainder of the week. I felt doing a recorded video wasn't going to really give you the message that I wanted to give you, and I really kind of wanted to get your information, your thoughts on this too, and where you were coming, where you stood. So because if you felt like, okay, the bottom was in and this is going to keep ripping up, I'm going to buy all the stocks I can, I wanted to kind of bring a little bit of a dose of reality to you guys and say, okay, let's take a step back and look at the entire landscape, because things are still happening that may not be good for the economy. So we still haven't yet seen the true impact of what's been transpiring over the last 4 to 6 weeks. So as long as you go into tomorrow with that understanding, I think you guys will be just fine. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to shed that to light. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, if you got some value out of this, if you learned something today, if you liked my thoughts, I would certainly appreciate a thumbs up. And if this is the first time you're ever visiting this channel, I would encourage you to subscribe. We got a lot of really good stuff on this channel, not just within the live streams, but also other on how to trade, teaching new strategies and that sort of thing. And like I said, go check out the link down in the description below. You get a free month, 30 days flat, free month. Put the coupon code in stocks, going to links in the description for the mentorship. And I hope to see you guys there. All right. Have a good one, folks. Have a good night. Stay prepared. All right. And as always, folks, I'll see you all before the bell. B. Smith is out. See ya.